Good morning and welcome to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sarah and I am on a journey of creating conscious lifestyle content and ASMR. So yeah, let's just hop into the video. What am I supposed to say? Oh yeah, like and subscribe. I just got this very exciting package that I have been waiting on for months and months and months. It is my Caraway set of pans. It is the limited edition in lavender. Yay! So I think I'm just gonna do a little unboxing for you guys. Let you know my first impressions, even though I really don't know that much about cookware, but I'm excited to learn, and I just think that they're really aesthetically pleasing and beautiful. I'm gonna also take you through kind of what a typical day of what I eat might look like. And this will be gluten-free and dairy-free and mostly vegan. I've spent a long time working on my relationship to food, and I don't like to look at it as restrictive eating, because that gets into this like very negative headspace mentality for me that I don't think is effective. So anyways, here are the pots and pans. I just popped my nail back while trying to adjust my camera stand, my tripod. So that sucked. So open up. You're one step closer to cleaner cooking. Adorable. I love this branding in this packaging. Here we go. This looks like our lids. Oh my gosh. Wow. I love... Are we ready for this reveal? Oh, beautiful. These little sticky things. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. But I was gonna say, I like that it's not super saturated and vibrant, because I feel like that'll just make it more of a timeless look. I really like this. It's really nice and heavy and sturdy. Oh my gosh, just look. Oh, this is like a perfect size to make a good soup that'll last like a good couple of days or even a week or so. There you go. That's the right lid. Oh, cute. Oh, this one's a saute pan and this one's the fry pan. So I'm probably gonna use this morning to cook some eggs. Yeah. They're magnetic. That is so cool. Alrighty, so all my lovely vegans out there might want to skip ahead if you do not want to watch me cook eggs and bacon. But to start out breakfast, the best meal of the day, I went with a classic turkey bacon and scrambled eggs along with avocado toast, because we can't have a what I eat in a day without some good avocado toast. But honestly, this pan did not disappoint. I used the saute pan here, and the bacon turned out better than any other bacon that I've cooked pretty much ever. And then I just put some avocado and lime in a little bowl, mashed it up with a fork, put some salt in there, super easy peasy lemon squeezy, lime squeezy I should say, oh my gosh, my jokes are so bad, but I put that all on some ancient grain gluten-free toast that I just got from Publix. So it turned out really great. You can see here I'm scrambling the eggs. It's not sticking to the pan hardly at all. The pans are very easy to clean off. So it definitely lives up to their claim that it is a no stick. Here I'm just preparing little plates for myself and Patrick. Put a little bit of paprika on top. This was really, really yummy and get a lot of good protein, a lot of good healthy fats from the avocado, and it just looks so lovely. The next meal of the day, I used some mixed spring greens, some leftover lentils, chickpeas, and sweet potatoes that I had roasted earlier in the week, and just put those on the fry pan to warm them up. this is a super easy way to meal prep. If you just roast a bunch of vegetables at the beginning of the week and have some mixed greens and some other toppings, like as you can see, I've got pecans and dried cranberries, and then I'm just making a little dressing with some apple cider vinegar, some tahini, and Dijon mustard, and then just a little bit of water to mix into the tahini. So it's really easy and delicious. Normally I would put apple slices on this salad too to add a little bit of sweetness, and it just complements the other flavors really nicely. But I unfortunately was out of apples on this day. This really is a true what I eat in a day video because I didn't plan it ahead or anything. I just kind of went with what ingredients I had. I just love a good superfood bowl for lunch, and it fills me up for the rest of the day until dinner. And it just looks so pretty too. It's very aesthetic. I can take some nice pictures. I'm drinking some coconut water as I record this. It's really good. I always try and say a little prayer before I start eating my food. I'm not always the best at it, something I'm working on getting better at, but just practicing gratitude for all the blessings that I have in my life, because the fact that I have access to this delicious, nutritious, organic food is honestly a luxury and a privilege, and I'm really fortunate to be able to eat this way. So it's important to say thank you. And especially if I'm eating meat now, I definitely will say a blessing towards whatever animal gave its life so that I could feed myself. I was vegetarian for quite a long time. I'll go into that a little bit later in the video, but I just realized it was not working for my body, unfortunately. But I'm a big believer in doing what is best for you and what works for you. So here I am making some chamomile and ginger tea. This was featured in my last ASMR video. I really mean it when I say I drink this every single day. I'll make a little cup of tea like this and re-steep it probably 3 or 4 times before the end of the day. So let me know in the comments if you also re-steep the same pot of tea like 3 or 4 times. You gotta get every little bit of juice out of there, you know what I'm saying? Nice little ASMR pour there for ya. For dinner, I tried something new. I made this delicious Alfredo type pasta. So I started off mincing some garlic. My chopping skills are not the best, so don't make fun of me. I need to watch some tutorials or something and improve my skills. But then I cut up a red onion. I ended up only using about half of this red onion because it was honestly really large, and it was great because I had some leftovers that I was able to use on salads over the next couple of days. And I put a little bit of tapioca flour in there and a cup of oat milk to create that creamy blend for the sauce. And then once that thickened up a bit, I added in another cup of oat milk. And I'll link the recipe that I used for this below. Then I used some sun-dried tomatoes, put those in a blender, and then put a little bit of water, and it looked milky because I did not wash it out before using it after the oat milk. And then you pour the sauce into the blender with the sun-dried tomatoes, put a little bit of salt in there. And then I'm just getting the water ready to boil my gluten-free banza pasta. As of right now, the chickpea pasta is my favorite. I honestly haven't tried that many brands. So once again, let me know in the comments if you have a favorite gluten-free pasta. Here I am drinking another cup of my chamomile and ginger tea. I re-steep that until it is basically tasteless. So after blending up that sauce, I put it back into the pan. After sauteing up the onions and garlic and some extra sun-dried tomatoes. dump all of that pasta in there. Mix her up nice and good. She looks creamy. And I just served that with a side of spinach just to get some greens in there. And look how good this looks, you guys. It was pretty delicious. I mean, it wasn't quite real Alfredo, but it was pretty close. It was a very cheesy and creamy consistency, and the sun-dried tomatoes added a really nice flavor. And I was really satisfied with the results. So like I said, I will link the recipe that I was inspired by in the bio. I just added some red pepper flakes on top, and we ate dinner while watching some anime. And as you probably noticed, I'm wearing the wig that I used in my ASMR video because sometimes it's fun to just feel like a waifu queen, you know? Honestly, my head was really itchy after wearing it for a few hours, so I haven't worn it since. And then for a little after dinner dessert / snack, I just cut up an apple and then served that with some coconut peanut butter. This is my favorite peanut butter. I believe the brand is Earth Balance. I'll have to check that. And then I just put a little bit of homemade granola. I will make another video on how to make that if you guys are interested. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end. If you're still here, I appreciate you coming along that journey through a day of nourishment in my life and what that looks like. I thought before I go, I'd just start a conversation about my relationship to food and how that has shifted and evolved and changed over the years, and has ultimately led me to this place where I currently am at, which I feel really, really good about. It's taken a long time to get here. Right here, I've got my delicious guacamole and queso and blue corn chips. It's just got avocado, tomato, garlic, cilantro, onion, lime, salt. Yeah, super simple. So I just made that for myself. Did I already say that this was a dairy-free queso made out of cashews? On to this discussion about food I promised you guys. I grew up in a household where eating healthily and organically was always a priority. My mom was always big into cooking with whole ingredients and taking care of her family that way. And that was beautiful. I feel like I've learned so much about food and cooking from my mother, but I definitely was not always at this point. I guess my relationship to food started getting wonky around when most teenage girls, do start to have these body image issues and struggle with their relationship to food. I was probably 13, 14 years old. I remember the first time that I noticed stretch marks on my legs, and just a few days before, somebody had made a comment about how I needed to stop eating so many French fries. And at the time, I was 13 years old and was like, whatever, I'm gonna eat what I want. But then I saw the stretch marks, and it just really took a toll on my mental health, I think, and my whole perception of my body. I did develop some eating disorder type habits from when I was 14 to 16, 17. I would try to do this thing where I would not eat all day, maybe except for a piece of toast or an apple or something like that. And right around when I got out of school, I would go to theater rehearsal because I was a theater kid, and there would always be a ton of snacks like cookies, and if you know the little Welch's grape fruit snacks, oh, those are so good. I love those, but I try not to eat them now. And by that point in the day, I would be so hungry that I would just binge on all these snacks because my body was like, give me food, I'm starving, why aren't you feeding me? I remember walking into other rooms with the snacks or hiding while I was eating them because I felt so much shame and disappointment in myself and embarrassment that I couldn't sustain these incredibly unhealthy practices, like starving myself all morning. Like I literally would punish myself because I wasn't good enough at being anorexic. So I was just encouraging this very poor cycle of not eating all day, then binge eating, and then I would probably go home and try to avoid dinner. And then right before bed is when it would be really bad because I would be alone in my room and nobody could see me. And so I would just snack on like chips and bread and cheese and hummus. And I was a growing girl, like I needed food. So I forgive myself for doing that, you know, like I was coping the way that I knew how. Like it was just a time of a lot of anxiety and other mental health afflictions that I am still working through every day, but you know, I've got a much better handle on them now because I don't eat bread and cheese at 11 p.m. anymore. But so that kind of continued, and then even when I had healed some of the body image work that I needed to do, I still was snacking late at night because my body had become so accustomed to that I couldn't not, or I would feel like nauseous the next morning. It was just not good. And I think that I had a lot of just like toxic activity going on in my body that these late night snacking episodes were feeding and perpetuating. Because when you go to sleep at night, your digestive system is supposed to be kind of done working for the day so that it can process everything that you've done throughout the day and can rejuvenate your cells, get rid of damaged cells through the lymphatic system, and kind of reset and restart. But if you're feeding it high amounts of processed sugar, for me it was like cheese and the bread, and I believe it's because I've had these problems that have caused me to develop food sensitivities and food allergies. But anyways, what I was doing, not good for my body. So I developed these poor eating habits, and then I started noticing either new uncomfortable symptoms or symptoms were just getting worse. Like acne, for example, was a huge thing that I struggled with since I was, 12, 13 years old, and still struggle with, but not nearly as much. All throughout that last decade of my life, I've had dermatologists say like, oh, diet has nothing to do with your skin. Like, keep eating however you want. I'm gonna give you this antibiotic and this topical antibiotic, and we're gonna cross our fingers. And none of those things ever worked. I think they just damaged my skin because they were too harsh. And I would also have digestive issues that kind of became worse over the last couple of years, as well as just like general weird symptoms that were kind of inexplicable. A few months ago, I had a severe allergic reaction to fire ants, and I had to be pumped up on steroids and all that good stuff to save my life and keep me alive. I think that the steroids all kind of suppressed a bunch of this stuff, like my skin cleared up and I was feeling great. And then right after I got off the steroids, my body had like a freak out. I went to get a facial from this amazing woman. Her name is Jamie, and she's basically like a medical medium, and she relayed all of this applicable and very relevant stuff to me about my health just from making contact. And she kind of just triggered this switch in my brain that was like, you have got to start taking your health seriously, or you're not going to live as high a quality of life as you would like to live. I had this download, this message of like, it's time to take care of yourself and it's time to give your body what it needs and really, really start to listen and hone into what's going on. And I decided that I was going to cut out gluten and dairy and most processed sugar. Let me tell you, that was a whole ordeal. I went to Asheville on vacation with my boyfriend Patrick and pretty much just couldn't enjoy the trip because I was dizzy and nauseous and having this toxicity die off in my body and all of this inflammation was coming up, but now I feel amazing. And it's been a journey for sure, and I know that there are going to be ups and downs, but I definitely 1000% believe that food is medicine, and that if you are listening to what your body needs, which is so different for every single person, you know, it depends on so many factors, from your blood type, just and other genetics, and the environment that you're in and how you grew up. So for example, I made it like fully vegetarian for about a year. I haven't been eating pork or red meat for a long time, but I just realized that my body was not doing well, trying to sustain itself on beans and nuts and replacement meats. Every time I ate, I would just feel this unwellness and just not right and not resonant at all. And then I ate chicken and it felt very aligning and grounding and just felt like what I needed. So I'm a big believer in consuming what you think your body needs, and really tuning into that. And it's hard at first because you're not really knowing what to listen for and what to look for. Something that I was kind of struggling with while making this transition to a healthier lifestyle, my new eating habits were a bit obsessive. To combat that, I've been allowing myself little cheat moments. It's really important to not beat yourself up about it when you do miss a day of, you know, eating well and nourishing your body, because ultimately that stress is just going to further burden you and not help you reach your goals. One thing in the whole process of taking care of myself through food that I have found really just ups the whole game is having cookware and dishware that you really love and find aesthetically pleasing. Having a nice aesthetic environment in the kitchen really just helps make the process of cooking more of a sacred one, and one that you can feel fully immersed in. That is why I am so over the moon excited about my Caraway pots and pans. After cooking with them for a few days, I'm in love. I think that they're really high quality. I have not had any issues cleaning them. Haven't had any issues with stuff really sticking to the pan, and I don't use that much oil when I cook. I think cooking on low to medium heat for these pans is a great idea, but is also just a good thing to do in general, because cooking with most oils on high heat can actually damage the integrity of the oils and cause it to be more difficult for your body to digest properly. But I can't wait to cook more with my Caraway set. I'm just really happy with where I'm at regarding my relationship to food. I honestly feel like the reason that I'm finally starting my YouTube channel is I feel like I'm living a bit more authentically now, and I'm coming into who I've been wanting to be for so long. It is really important to me that I am creating genuine and authentic content. I wasn't eating super well every single day, but now I'm taking the time to cook myself things every meal of the day. I think a lot of people are overwhelmed by it, or think that if they start eating really healthy that they're just never going to enjoy food again. And I certainly had a little bit of that mindset for a while. I didn't want to cut out cheese because I liked cheese. And I actually have had like goat cheese and mozzarella and blue cheese a couple of times scattered here and there, but honestly that's been kind of satisfying my craving for it. Bread, I don't miss at all. Dairy was a hard one. But anyways, it's one day at a time, one step at a time. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. You don't have to let it get there. I'm telling you that to you just as much as I'm telling it to myself. Because like I said, I'm not perfect, and I have days where I definitely don't eat great, but you know, doing my best. Thank you so much for sticking around and listening to me ramble. If you would like to hear me ramble about more things food related, as well as music, art, spirituality, plants, ASMR, and general wellness, conscious lifestyle content, then hit that subscribe button below and maybe like this video, give her a little thumbs up, share if you feel so inclined, or don't. But I hope that this resonated with you in some way and that you feel inspired to go cook yourself a healthy meal, or even go like buy a juice from the grocery store. It's as simple as that. Yeah, I will see you in my next video. I'm going to be posting regularly, so just watch out. I'm coming for you.